Andrea, why are estate agents so awful at their property brochures? Talk to me.
Because they work in facts rather than looking at the emotional aspect of a property.
Okay.
When you go into a house, yes, you want to know it's got 2 bedrooms, you want to know it's got a kitchen, you might want to know it's got a bathroom. These are essential things. But it isn't that sells it to you. It's an emotional feeling, it's how it feels, how the property flows, what it looks like, the period of the property. There's many other elements that go into it rather than just the actual outlining facts. That's just the data side, I would say, rather than the actual sort of emotional side. And it doesn't just have to be an expensive property to put some of that into the property details.
I mean, what are we talking here? I mean, sure, it's just all photos and floor plans, isn't it?
Well, not if you want to really attract people. And I think sometimes people are very put off by the description, by the photos, and especially if there's no floor plan, you can get extremely put off by what you see. And there's that many armchair viewers nowadays, you know, well, you all know what I mean by that won't actually get up off their backside and go and view a property if it doesn't meet their visual concept of what that is about, that being able to describe it can also give a different depth to what that property is.
Why are words so powerful then? Because surely it's situated in the rolling countryside of a 3-bedroom semi, including lounge, dining room, kitchen, gas central heating, double glazing, nice garden, front and back and garage. Actually, I've just described what every agent does.
Yeah, you just do what every agent does. It's just explaining the facts. You know, if I'm going into a property, you know, I want to know, right, if you walk in, the light shines through the window, how it feels, that sense of warmth as you walk through the door. Can you imagine where your Christmas tree is going? I mean, that's one of the key selling points that most stagers will say. If someone says to them, that's where my Christmas tree is going, they know they're near enough got a sale of that house because people are already imagining themselves in there. So what you're doing is moving that stage forward a little bit by allowing them to start imagining themselves in there before they've even stepped through the property. And that can't be done just by a couple of photographs. It has to be description and bring in their emotional side into it as well.
But surely won't brochures get a bit wordy?
You don't have to go and do War and Peace. You don't need to do that. I mean, if we're talking just for, you know, a 2-bedroom cottage, you're not going to write reams and reams of text, and especially if it's a property that is only, you know, worth a small amount of money compared to something which is worth a few million. You know, there's a difference there. But there is ways that you can still bring some emotional element into it.
Give us some tips for the viewers, please.
Absolutely. Just be more descriptive. Think about how that property looks and feels. Use your senses. You know, can you hear the countryside outside? You know, if you step outside, you know, all you can hear is the river down the bottom, or you can, you know, hear the wildlife in the garden. Those kind of things start painting pictures in people's minds. You know, if you walk in, you know, the fire's going. We walked in, and why not explain it as though you were viewing it? You know, I walked into the property, the fire was going, this was happening.
So you write it in the first person?
You can write, well, you can write it in any person you want. But people are so fixated on creating what everybody else has got rather than writing it in a way that works for their agency.
Do you think there's some hangover from Property Misdescriptions Act?
I think there probably is. I think people may be too scared to actually venture out from what they feel is safe. But safe is not going to get you noticed. I think you have to be a bit, I mean, you've still got to obviously do everything correctly, but if you stand out, then people are going to remember your property details, they're going to remember you when they start to sell, and buyers are more likely to want to come and see what you've got.
So a huge tip is to write in the first person. When I walked into this room, I was amazed by the vista out, and I could smell the cornflowers. I mean, it really is sick. I hate the word sickly, as like
you
that.
don't have to go into as much detail as that. You know, you can just put little elements of the lifestyle into it, but don't just keep it all fact. Just try and tug on some kind of emotion.
Anything else? Any other tips you've got for writing brochures?
For writing brochures, absolutely. I would definitely say, just like I said, think about your senses. Think about, you know, what you can hear, what you can see, what you can smell, what you can touch. And I personally would rather an agent say, you know, walked into the house, yes, this property does need a lot of work. This needs doing, that needs doing. You know, be honest. You know, we're all going to see it anyway. You walk into a house, you know, you're going to see it. So why not just be honest about it? And I think that is a really great way of building trust straight off when you are completely honest.
Okay, so talk in the first person, be honest. Anything else?
And just be yourself. Stop trying to be this corporate representation of who you are.
This is a three-bedroom semi. It has this. We all sound like robots, don't we?
All sound like robots. And, yeah, you know, you're doing exactly the same as the agent next door. It's, you know, creating a content marketing is all about differentiation. And if you're not trying to be different, you're not going to be seen to be different. So if you want to be, you can't just say to people, we're a different kind of estate agent. Those words mean absolutely nothing unless you are proving it through things that you're doing. And if people can't see it, they can't believe it.
And let's be honest, the most thing that most people read are our brochures. So
yeah. And a lot of agents are no longer giving out brochures with their properties when you go on a viewing. A lot of agents actually give you a brochure anymore. So the only information you get is what's online. So if that information online is not engaging, and the photographs, because there's still a lot of agents are not doing professional photography, if the photographs aren't good and your copy's not good, you know, people might just walk on by.
Well, let's be frank. It's going to, you know, it's not like 2014-15 where you put anything on and it would sell. It's going to get tougher in 19, and we need everything in our armoury to get the houses sold so we get paid.
Exactly. You know, I'm seeing quite a lot, you know, in the market where I live, it's quite a vibrant market, which is kind of unusual, but I am seeing properties, still some properties, which I think are overvalued, and they're dropping and dropping and dropping, which then has a negative impact, and, you know, and it's not a good thing, but that's a different kettle of fish, that is. But I think if you get the wordings right and you attract people right, and I think sometimes the photographs and the description give the wrong representation of what a property is.
Thank you, Andrea.
Thank you.